Hello everyone, welcome to Redbust US channel. In this video, we'll look at the recent update given by the head of US Consulates in India regarding the US visa appointment situation for 2022 and beyond. We'll cover quite a few things. So this is what we'll cover. We'll look at how they plan to operate this year in terms of appointments and updates by each of the visa types and what to expect going forward. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. So what is official news, right? So this is the actual Facebook live that was done by Mr. Don Heflin from who's head of US consulates in India. And this was like a thing that was organized by US consulate in Chennai. So we actually summarized this. In fact, there's a video, you can watch the video as well. We have written an article as well. This is done because many people asked for a video. Okay, let's get started. So overall, initially they gave like overall, like situation about what they plan to do in the 2022, right? So firstly, they said this year marks the 75th anniversary for diplomatic ties, meaning that US visas have been issued in India since independence for the last 75 years. That's what it means, right? And they said that for this year they plan to only operate at 2/3 of their capacity because of various restrictions. They're not going to be full. They plan to issue about 800,000 visas, this year. That's quite a few. In the next 12 months, basically, not exactly 2022, but in the next 12 months, they plan to do about 800,000 visas. And they plan to be fully operational by mid-2023, provided things are staying as it looks today. There is no new, situations that arise with the COVID. Yeah, that's what they were telling, right? And, one of the things they said was they're not aware of the backlog because there is no, they depend on many factors. I mean, people buy the appointment, the receipts, right, for the paying the fee, but they really don't have a gauge of what is the backlog and all of that. So that's why they said they're going to change the system of how they operate. Today, the way they do the appointment booking and all, they really don't have a clear picture of how the whole thing works. While there are other ways to find out, but, at least they don't have a straightforward way. That's what they were telling. Now, in terms of other things, right? So important thing they said that they're going to open up appointments for the next 1.5 years, right? Today, if you see, they only open up for about 6 months or even less than that. And there are placeholder appointments that they open up now and then. So they're going to change this, going forward. And also these slots that will open up in the future, they will be usable, and these are not like a placeholder or a fake appointments, right? So now if you were to book one of the placeholder appointments, when you go to the website, it clearly tells that this is a placeholder appointment on the beginning screen, but doesn't tell you when you book it, right? So people just book an appointment because they need that for expediting, and they said that this will change going forward. Again, we'll see this announcement also, right? They said this will change, and you can book something in the future. So this way they will be able to forecast how much a backlog they have and how they can manage it. That's what he was telling in the interview. Now, in terms of challenges, somebody asked and they said that classic challenges, right, with COVID, not a lot of people, the challenging which hiring, budgeting and all of that, right? So the standard challenge, that's what he said, right? And also he encouraged not to refresh too much because many people ask that we're getting blocked out. So they say that there are some restrictions in place, and they think that the system thinks that you're a bot if you do too many refreshes. So that's why I said not to do that, right? And also somebody asked, okay, what if can you all offer like a premium service, right? And he said that okay, there's an egalitarian society, and we do not believe in just giving more money or actual giving appointments to people who pay more money, right? So I think they said that we look at the purpose. So in fact, they've actually turned down appointment requests for some prominent people as well. That's what he was telling. And so they really are not about, it's not about money. It's more about the principles that they have, right? And so for someone who asked, I have an appointment in June, will it get cancelled? He said that if you were to book it in the last 2 months, they should not get cancelled. And, the idea is if you were to book before, they were placeholder appointments. So that's why they basically said that they will get cancelled. So again, if you're in doubt, I would suggest, just check with the, the US Travel Docs or the CJ Federal thing, right? Now, in terms of interview waiver, right? Interview waiver appointment updates are, somebody asked, okay, why can't we do walk-ins like before? And they said that this is not going to change. So appointments will be mandatory for Dropbox. In fact, if you are aware of the history, and up until September 2019, you could walk into any of the Dropbox locations and drop off your documents. But starting September 2019, they actually changed this whole thing and they introduced the concept of appointments. So now you need it for you to actually submit documents. You really need to have an appointment. So that's the thing. thing. And also what they said was in terms of Dropbox appointments, they're really maxed out for summer, and they don't have any plans to increase the capacity because they're already like going with full load, right? And they say that if you're H1L visas or H1B, all of these, right, you're out of luck, and you only will be able to book for September or later, and they'll open up as time permits, but they said that they don't plan to increase the capacity though. In terms of big change that we know in recent times, that was announced like a few weeks ago, right, that you can drop off your documents at any VAC location. Essentially, what in the past you had to only drop off had to only drop off documents at a specified location that was around the consulate. Like for example, if you were to take Chennai, right, as a consulate, then you can only drop off at Chennai, or you could drop off at Bangalore and some other related locations, right? You couldn't go, you couldn't go to other locations, so that's the idea. Now, the idea with this is now you can book at any place, but you can drop off at any place, So they will, there are some premium locations where they charge. We have a separate video on this. You can watch that for full details. We'll put a link in the description for that. In terms of Dropbox, they said that they're extending that the 48 months thing. They continue to have that. I mean, in fact, it's actually the 48 month from expiry is valid for indefinitely. Don't even have a deadline for that, right? So that's the way they are, and he just reiterated that. So the big change that coming up for this year is more on F1 visa appointments. So last year was one of the significant years, and they issued 62,000 F1 visas. So for this year, they'll plan to open up, in mid-May, and they'll start interviewing applications starting from June 1st. So they're not going to wait until last minute like last year. Last year, they had COVID challenges, so that's why they couldn't do. In terms of the policy changes, right? So there's a big policy change that's coming up. And the idea is last year, when they had these slots open, they were opened pretty late in the June or mid-June, right? And many did not get a second chance. So they only got one slot, and all of them gave their best shot. So they were able to, his point was basically if you, like he was giving a cricket analogy for that, right? You should try to, when you get one ball to face, you should always try to, hit a six rather than getting balled, So I think it's a interesting analogy that is given, right? But the idea is he said that you have to give the best shot, and and they will actually block out people who are rejected. Essentially, you're going to get one shot. So if you, so they're not going to give multiple appointments for people who are rejected once in the first round. So we'll have to see how this will be implemented. Again, there is no official announcement that released yet. So this plan to be released. In fact, we checked with the consulate, and they said that they'll give some guidance on this, right? So. And the idea is they want to give more opportunities for first-time applicants, so that they can actually present their case. Yeah. In terms of other things, interview waiver continue to be in there. F1 interview waiver, meaning that if you had any US visa like B1, B2 in the past, you could be eligible for the Dropbox. And also somebody asked about bank statements. So they say that it's not material. It's more important to know what and why are you planning to study, right? Kind of fundamental thing. And all these things will be applicable to M and J visas as well. And some of these Dropbox slots for F1 will open in June. In terms of B1, B2, he said that the fresh B1, B2 slots will be open up in the next few weeks, and they plan to start interviewing from September the 1st. That's the date when you can expect these slots to be, starting the interview. So this has been like a very big pain point for many people who are not able to get their parents, or visit their family, right? So this is a challenge. So they plan to open about 500 slots per day. So there'll be a lot of slots that will be opened. So I guess you guys keep an eye on, thing, right? Also, they will say that they said that some of the Dropbox appointments will be open in third week of July. That's another thing. In terms of H1B, right, they said that they plan to issue about 300,000 visas in the next 12 months. And this includes H1B, H4, L1, L2, all of these included, right? And most of these, the Dropbox slots, they said it's over for summer. So, you're out of luck. Maybe they might be like here and there, one few, but they're oversubscribed. That's what they said that, right? In terms of September, they will open up in upcoming weeks, right? So September and after. So keep an eye on the appointment slots, right? And also, if you can get an in-person appointment also at Chennai in July also, so that's another thing. And they said that there is no Dropbox option for blanket L1 because for various logistical reasons, they can't do that. So that's the thing. And they said the slots will open in middle of June. Now, in terms of emergency appointments, right? So, going forward, there is no need to book a placeholder slot. This is similar to what we said in the beginning. Whatever slot you book will be available to be used, right? And if you get approval for, the emergency, then you will get it. Otherwise, you won't, right? And they said that they're going to prioritize, primarily emergency means real emergency, right? Like if somebody, death in a family or serious hospitalization or any business work, right? They're not going to give appointments for weddings or graduation ceremonies and things like that. Yeah. So all in all, it's good update, I would say, but we'll have to see how they will implement some of these things. So yeah, do check out for later updates. We have put a link in the description regarding the article as well. So again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates. Yeah.